Hello and welcome to another episode of TEVAdrive. And this week we are driving the 2023 Toyota BZ4X all-wheel drive version, which is right behind us. We are now at the Milton Electrified Canada Superchargers on Steeles Avenue West in Milton, and we've just plugged in. This is our third DC session, so we'll tell you how our fast charging sessions worked, and then we'll basically jump in, take you for a test drive, give you a walk around in terms of the interior comfort and interior design, outside design, etc. So let's come in a little closer, and we have completed the fast charging session. Right now our Audi is charging, and you can kind of tell the difference in size. You can see that the Toyota is a little lower than our Audi. Audi is now in the efficiency, so low position. The Toyota BZ4X is a little bit lower, but it's a similar length. You have the unibrow just like the Audi. You have in the back you have the unibrow that stretches the whole length. You have the car logo BZ4X here, and you have the all-wheel drive logo here. So this Toyota, as we're driving it, the all-wheel drive version starts at 55,000. As tested, it's 58,000, which is not bad for an all-wheel drive fully electric car. Toyota sells two versions of the car. It sells the front-wheel drive version and all-wheel drive. The difference in batteries and power is minimal. Basically, the front-wheel drive version has a 64 kilowatt-hour battery, where the all-wheel drive version has 66 kilowatt-hour battery. And the horsepower difference is also minimal, where the front-wheel drive is 200 horsepower and the all-wheel drive gets 215 horsepower. I guess most likely Toyota did not want to compete with the Lexus RZ 450e, which has 300 horsepower. So they needed a reason for you to upgrade to a Lexus. Of course, there's a lot of other differences inside. The Lexus being always the much more luxurious one. Kind of the similar idea of the differences between the RAV4 Prime and the Lexus NX 450h Plus. So let's walk over to the side and then to the front of the car, where we are basically we're not plugged in. It's actually our Audi that's plugged in. I'm going to show you the front of the car. Is very distinct. The design of the front is unlike any other Toyota. You can see here there is no unibrow in the front. You have your LED headlights right here in the front. There's no need to pop the hood because underneath is just all electronics. There is no front storage space. Kind of similar idea like the BMW and Mercedes. There's nothing under here to see. It's just all electronics. The charge port here is on the driver front side. It's a manual door. You have two covers, one cover for J1772 and a separate cover for the CCS. There we go. And then we'll give you a quick look at the interior of the car in terms of the space. By the way, this is the XLE top of line version, which comes with a glass roof. It's a one-piece fixed glass roof. On the inside, you'll see once we get inside, is that basically it looks like it's in two sections. There's a divider in the middle of the roof, so it kind of looks like it's two separate panels, but it's not. It's a one piece. So I'm not sure why they have this separation here in the middle, because there's no lights here, no nothing. So they could have done just an open glass sunroof, and there is a sunshade. Let's see if we can, once we take you for a test drive, we'll start it off and we'll show you there's a electric sunshade that closes, which is a nice idea. So in terms of the space of the car, so this is one of those cars, both Lexus and Toyota, the full electrics, have this idea of you looking at the dashboard above the steering wheel. So you have to position the steering wheel, which by the way, it's a manual steering wheel. So you have to position it at the lowest possible position so that you can see the dashboard above the steering wheel. You don't look through it like in all other cars through the wheel. You look at it above the steering wheel, which can be annoying because when you get in and out of the car, your knees are going to be hitting the steering wheel. So if this wheel was, by the way, it's a manual adjustment. So if this was perhaps an electric adjustment, then the wheel could have automatically gone up to facilitate getting in and out of the car. The other thing in this Toyota, which is the XLE version, it's all manual. So it's all the seat adjustments are all manual, no electric adjustments. The window are all power windows, but the seats are all manual, and they are heated, not cooled. And the steering wheel is also heated. It's a leather steering wheel, but the seats are cloth. Yeah, so the position right now, I'm in a pretty comfortable position for the driver. Let's see what the rear space is like when I'm in this position. Here we go. So this is the rear seat space. It's very decent. Both the headroom and as most of you know, I'm about 190 centimeters tall, or 6 feet 3. Quite a bit of headroom here, no problem with the headroom, and legroom likewise, quite a bit of legroom. You don't need to put your feet under the seat because there's no space there unless you raise the front seat up, but there's quite enough space for you to be traveling in comfort, even like this in the back space. So the very decent space. Now there's two vents here. Basically there's not much, there's no control, rear climate controls. Everything is controlled from the front. And there's the cup holders are here. It's all very basic, unlike the Lexus version of it. And it's a 40-60 split rear bench. All right, so let's show you the trunk quickly. The trunk space is very decent as well. The car is beeping because we left the car on. It's reminding you that the car is actually on. It also beeps when you open. The car does not seem to be equipped with a foot swipe. So it's quite a substantial trunk, and you do have a trunk cover like this. There you go. And then under the floor is your cables. And there's a bit of more space underneath, a little bit further down. It all fell off now, but yeah, there we go. And so there's a bit more space here, and then this is the space for your cables, and the car manual is right here. Voila. So that's about it for the walk around. We really like the design of this car. It's when you position it right next to its cousin RAV4, it's definitely lower than the RAV4. All right, so that's about it. Now let's jump in and take you for a spin and give you our impressions, statistics of the consumption, and our general impressions. Okay, so here we are inside the 2023 Toyota BZ4X all-wheel drive version. We wanted to show you the interior of the car and some of the main functions. So first of all, as we mentioned, the unusual design of the car dictates that you will be looking at your dashboard above the steering wheel. It's kind of like the Peugeot in Europe. Of those of you not familiar with the brand, exactly the same design. Actually, it was designed by a friend of ours. But so this is what you do. So in order for you to properly see the dashboard above the steering wheel, you have to adjust the steering wheel, which is a manual adjustment. I had to, at least for myself, I had to put it right at the very bottom. So what that does is sometimes it interferes with your legs a little bit, especially when getting in and out. So it's not the best design, but that's kind of, I think once you can get used to it, basically. Okay, so it's a digital dashboard here, and you have different settings. You can have your power band and speedometer taking up the entire screen, or like we prefer it right now, we chose to show the consumption. The way you change the design of the screen is through the steering wheel. Here you have the 4 arrows and the OK button. You have your volume button here. You have your verbal instructions. Now what we can mention is that we tried verbal instructions a few times, and every time we got an error message saying that the system was busy and unavailable. The other issue we've had was with the adaptive cruise and auto steer. When we press this button here, which is supposed to activate the cruise control, you have to shift into D. Okay. So basically what we got was okay, shift into D. That's okay. We're basically yeah, there you go. Cruise control unavailable. See owner's manual. Okay, so let's put it back in park. So we had this error pretty much from the second day. The first day it worked okay. The auto steer worked okay, but then from there on we had this cruise control error as well as the verbal command error, system busy messages. So you can see here, right now we're on the display where it shows the trip statistics. We've been running the air conditioning for a while here, being stopped at the charging station. So our trip score was 16 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We drove about 180 kilometers from Georgian Bay to Milton using the side roads below 100 kilometers per hour. So that was our best score. We also did a 400 northbound. We got a very similar score of 16.8, but it was in the Friday afternoon rush hour traffic on the way to the cottage, a lot of stop and go on the Highway 400. When we were driving the first time around on the 400 northbound, we got the consumption of about 18 and a half. Doing the middle to left lane speeds. So that would give you the, at the hypermiling method using side roads, it will give you a range of about 415 kilometers, which is the rated range for this car. But on the highway, it can only do about 350, 360, doing those speeds that we mentioned. Really depends on what your driving style is. And now the only thing that we have to mention here, because we've done 3 fast charging sessions on this car now, and unfortunately the charging speed is nowhere near what the rated speed is. The rated speed is maximum of 100 kilowatts, and we charged the car from 70 to 80. It took a long time. It was very low at about 27 kilowatts. We did 40 to 70. It did maximum of 51 and it ramped down very quickly. So it took us half an hour to charge from 40 to 70%. And today we started at 50%. It also basically took us 45 minutes to go from 40 to 80%. It's not the best speed. Hopefully this will be improved. This is Toyota's first full electric car, if you don't count the UX 300e that was sold in China and Europe. That was Lexus, of course. So this is Toyota's first, full electric car, and maybe they are just being careful, as a few of you commented, and perhaps with the future over-the-air updates or software updates in general, they will be able to accelerate the speed of the charging, because right now it's very slow. And a lot of people complained about it, especially in the winter. People have mentioned that they've only gotten as much as 25 to 27 under winter conditions. So if you go through the screen options here again, so we can go back to various displays. So this is your consumption, your adaptive cruise mode, your entertainment, your all-wheel drive system, settings, and again, messages from the system. So if you wanna, there you go. If you don't want it, this is you maximize the display where you have just the basic information if you don't want the consumption to be shown. Here on the main screen, the main screen, you can do the Android Auto, by the way, which is wireless, which is great. By the way, here you have your wireless charger right there. So when you put your phone down here, it charges wirelessly, and Android Auto also connects wirelessly. I would not suggest to put this cover down because the phone will overheat in the wireless charger. So at all times when my phone was charging here, I left this cover open and actually air conditioning directed low so that it cools down the phone at the same time. Here you have some buttons for your gear selector. So you push down and put it in drive, or you put it in reverse, or you park this way. You have your eco mode here. So when you put your, let me just put it back in the Toyota screen. Well, let's get out of Android Auto. There you go. Let's go back to the Toyota screen. We can put it in navigation. So when you press on the eco mode, you have to be in drive again. So when you press eco, you have the eco showing up here as well, below the speedo. Okay, so let's put it back in park. So now we're in eco mode. The air conditioning and climate also has an eco mode. You can see it right here. If you press it here, then your climate goes into eco mode as well. So it changes, it saves the power. The auto steering heat and auto seat heat are kind of silly. It was like plus 15 the other day in the morning. It was a cool morning, but it was still plus 15, and it turned the steering wheel heat on, which is kind of, you can turn it off. So there's the 2 options. You can turn it 3 stages for the seat and 2 stages for the steering wheel, and now you can just keep it off. So I would keep it off completely. And here again, you have your auto seat heater for the passenger. Then you have your AC, you have your direction of the air, your temperature, up and down, direction of, the fan speed. Okay, there you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So we'll put it down to 1, and then again, this is the direction of the air, wherever you want. So let's direct it away from me. I like to keep it on the windshield and then on the legs. Here again, this is the different climate functions, air conditioning with or without. So let's turn the AC on. There we go. You're syncing left, so you have the 2 zone. It's only dual zone. It also controls the temperature in the back. There's no separate setting for the rear passengers. And so that's basically all your climate functions are here on the screen. And it's mostly some physical buttons and some haptic touch buttons. Here's your volume controls are here. On, off for the screen is here. So let's just show you the rest of the functions here on the center screen, which is a good size screen, high definition. The navigation, the car navigation is basically just regular, images, no satellite images, and the finding of the stations, charging stations is not the easiest. So, there you go. Because we're on, it's automatically listens to you for instructions, and the verbal instructions didn't work. So let's just turn it off. So again, it doesn't work very well. So we just use the Waze for navigation. Then you have your sound options. You have your XM radio, regular radio, or your streaming from your phone. You have your phone, which is right now, it doesn't show because it's connected through the Android Auto. And then we mentioned that it's a wireless Android Auto, which is great. You have your vehicle settings. So your charging schedule, this is just to put in the schedule. If you want to change the maximum charge, you go somewhere else. You go to settings. So you go to settings, you go to vehicle customize, you go to charging, and this is where you set your limit. So you have full, 90, 80, 70, 60, etc. So that was preset. Now you cannot change it while charging. We tried to change this while charging and it wouldn't let us. So basically what we should do is change it to 80 now. And the next time, this was our last charging session anyway, so we won't do it again. But I suggest that if you're fast charging the Toyota, please always set it for 80%, because even up to 80 it's pretty slow. If you charge it beyond 80, it becomes ridiculously slow. So you don't want to charge the Toyota above 80%. And that's what our friend did when we were traveling. We have our video with the first impressions driving the BZ4X on a Trans-Canada. We drove it over 100 kilometers on a Trans-Canada. We switched cars with our friend when driving from Toronto to Edmonton. So you can look at that video. But basically, yes, a very strong recommendation to change this to 80% when before fast charging, and then you will get the correct estimate of completion, as opposed to it showing it to you like 12 hours and 55 minutes to complete, because the speed goes so slow that it's not worth it, definitely. And then you have your climate settings, utility, door control, lights, etc. You have your, you don't have any ambient lighting in this Toyota, so it's basically whatever the standard lighting there is. You also can control volume, as I mentioned, here on the steering wheel. All the cruise control functions, when it works, are all here. So you set it with this button here, and then you increase speed and decrease speed here. You have your resume button here. Your different modes, meaning you have adaptive or regular cruise control. The distance from the car in front of you is set through here, and this is your auto steer button on or off. This is mode for your entertainment, skip to the left or skip to the right for your entertainment. And that's about it. So that being said, what else can we show you? There's some more storage. Oh, first of all, there is no glove compartment. There's a lot of storage here. This slides open, and there's quite a bit of storage here. So I was able to put all my junk here. Not super deep, but enough for me to put my wallet, the phone cover, my sunglasses, and my keys. And a huge set of keys, and there's a bit more storage here above, 2 cup holders, and there's also a shelf here underneath, but there's no glove compartment. There's quite a bit of storage in the doors, of course, and that's about it. Let us show you the sunroof finally. So right now we have the The sunshade, it's covered fully because it's a hot summer day. Let us open the sunshade. There you go. So you see it's a one-piece glass sunroof, but for some reason you have this middle divider here, which kind of makes it look like it's a two pieces, but it's not. And there's not sure what the function for this middle section here is, but anyways, it's there. That's the design of the Toyota. So let's close it because it's super hot. And now we'll take you for a spin and just give you our general impressions of this car. All right, so here we are now starting our driving section of the review for the 2023 Toyota BZ4X all-wheel drive version. We'll probably try and mention its competition, such as of the other all-wheel drive cars, such as the Mach-E, ID4. Of course, Tesla, would be one of the competitors as well. Priced between the all-wheel drive version, because there's also a front-wheel drive version, remember, which is minimally slower and minimally, actually the range is the same or more because the battery size is literally the same. The all-wheel drive gets 66 kilowatt hours versus 64 kilowatt hours for the front-wheel drive. The difference also is charging speed. Surprisingly enough, the larger battery on the all-wheel drive charges slower at maximum 100 kilowatts versus 150 on the front-wheel drive version. Now, that is on paper. Unfortunately, we just experienced 3 DC fast charging sessions at various state of charge percentages of the battery, and the lowest we started at was 40%. We never got anywhere near the promised 100 kilowatt of speed. The most we got was just over 50. And we've seen commenters already commenting about the winter charging speeds, which are also very slow, down to about 27 kilowatts. So there is a good chance, though, we're hoping that Toyota will update the charging software, whether it's via OTA, over-the-air updates, or whether it's through software updates in dealership in the near future to allow for faster charging curves, because as it is right now, it's really, really slow. 40 to 70 took us half an hour. Right now, 50 to 80 took us 45 minutes. So really, it has to be sped up to be practical. Otherwise, this will be just a city car with owners avoiding longer trips. Other than that, it's really that's the only really bad thing about it. We're also not crazy about this arrangement of the steering wheel and the dashboard, where you have to look above it, which means that you have to always position the steering wheel at its lowest position, and then you're kind of touching it with your legs sometimes, especially when you're getting out of the car. Again, it may take some getting used to. It's not a major thing, and it's a unique design, which is also shared by some Peugeot cars in Europe. But it's nothing major. I think the slow charging speeds are a major obstacle, and that they may deter some purchasers in the future. Other than that, comfortable car. As you can hear, there is a bit of a road noise going, and we notice it because mostly we just test drove the Range Rover, and that was a super quiet car. But this you can get almost three of these for one Range Rover plug-in hybrid. So it's a different, definitely category of car. So the road noise is comparable to a Tesla Model 3, which, as you know, doesn't have the best sound insulation on the inside. And with its 215 horsepower for this all-wheel drive and 6.5 second acceleration from 0 to 100, it's not the fastest, there you go, we're pressing it as hard as we can. And it's got just enough acceleration to keep up with the traffic, but it's not spectacular like some of the other all-wheel drive competition, such as Ioniq 5 EV6 with its 300 horses, which are much faster. They are 5.5 seconds. The ID4 all-wheel drive with its 300 horses also has over 6 seconds acceleration. So in terms of the performance, it's more similar to the ID4. than the other Korean competition. All in all, in terms of the size of the trunk, size of the interior, it's a very comfortable car. We love the sunroof. We just wish it was an opening sunroof. It's not. It's a fixed glass roof. We do appreciate the fact that it has a electric blind that you can close on a hot summer day like today. So that's a very good thing. And it's a well priced car. So with improvements over time, we hope that this car will charge faster and it will be more direct competition for those other cars available in the same price range. If you have any questions about this car or whether it's consumption, we did mention to you that the consumption that we got, the lowest we got was 16 on side roads, 18 on the highway. In the city, you can get low teens. What it translates into, based on the 66 kilowatt-hour battery, is about 415 kilometers on the side roads, 360 kilometers on the highway, and which is kind of in the range of a lot of the other electric cars. All in all, very good car. You should, when you're, comparing and cross-shopping, it will be cross-shopped against those other electric cars that we mentioned, like Tesla Model Y, this being a crossover, a hatchback, Tesla Model Y, or Hyundai, Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, Volkswagen ID4, Ford Mach-E. All of those kind of will be cross-shopped together. And like we said before, because of the long delays in deliveries, a lot of the decisions will be made on how quickly you can get delivery of one of those electric cars, because they are similar in many aspects, including performance and price and electric range, etc., etc. So the only downside for this one, the major one, is its slow charging speeds, which we hope will be corrected. So that's about it for our impressions of this Toyota BZ4X all-wheel drive. We hope to also soon be able to drive the luxury version of this car based on the same platform with very similar specs, and that is the Lexus RZ 450e, which is the full electric version of the Lexus of the similar size than this, which will have many more luxury appointments. And we will then compare with this car and other luxury crossover SUVs. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment under our video. And as usual, do not forget to press the subscribe button on our channel to be informed when the next video will be released. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next review.